Hi, everybody. This is Linda, and we have TJ as well. Welcome to Resilience Unpacked.
Yo, 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 what's up? What's up?
And today we decided to kind of change things up a little bit. We decided that we were actually going to look into some stories that we thought were interesting. And to be honest, TJ doesn't even know the story that I'm going to bring up. But
Not at all.
today, we're going to basically talk about mothers and just like boundary stuff. So I'm actually going to go ahead and read a story for y'all. And then we're going to see what TJ thinks. And then we're just going to dive into like some mental health things about it, like kind of just talk about it. So let me go ahead and start. Let me read this story. So, and let me tell you where I'm getting this from. I'm actually getting this from Reddit. It's called Two Hot Takes. It's like one of the best places where like if you need a little bit of drama in your life, this is where you go. Okay.
So
So
how do you it's like, man, I sound old as hell right now. Like so how do you is this on the internet? Do you
yes, you can get it on your laptop. You can get it on your device, like with like an app. It's
Yeah, yeah,
Reddit,
yeah.
and then you go to the search bar and you type in two hot takes, and then you basically just go down. It's like yeah, and then you just find the stories and you read. Okay, well,
And
anyways,
where did you find this? Like how did you get into this?
um, like I love Reddit. So
Yeah, it's kind of like asking how did you get into Instagram?
yeah, yeah. So, well, the thing is, I like to read a lot of articles online, like different articles, and one of my favorite places to go to was BuzzFeed. So, whenever I would read an article, I would look and they would get a lot of their information from Reddit. So then I'm like, okay, let me go to like the real source. So then that's where I would go, and then it's just like once you like something, you just dive in and you could literally be there all day long. So I have to control myself because I could be on it all day long. So,
Yeah, I got
but
you. Okay,
anyways,
so
jumping to the story.
okay, all right, all right. I'm
I
what is it called? I'm stalling.
mean, okay. So this is comes from a user called NewPipe5681, and they're basically saying, "Am I the asshole for calling my mother-in-law crazy because of a Christmas card?" Now I'm gonna read what happens. Christmas at my in-laws is an important tradition to my mother-in-law. Since her kids were babies, Christmas was always at her house, and she wants to keep it this way. The issue started when my mother in law adopted 7 animals this year, including 2 big dogs and cats. That's a lot of animals. It's important to note that my mother in law was not the best at keeping her house clean before animals. So now, with 7, you can only imagine how dirty it is. My sister in law and I have pretty severe allergies to animals, and therefore, we have to limit our time spent at the family house. In November, I asked my husband, he's 23, about Christmas. I told him that maybe it would be best if we hosted this year so that everyone could enjoy the night. He agreed, and so we invited everyone over. My mother in law was not so happy about it, but did not make a big fuss. We compromised and agreed that we would do Christmas Eve at our house and Christmas at hers. My husband told her that we would only stay an hour or two max due to my allergies. So just picture this: family getting together, sisters in laws have allergies.
Allergies.
Like, that's already trouble.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. On the 24th, everyone came to my house and we all had fun. When it was time to open the gifts, we all took our turns. When it was time for my mother in law to give us her presents, she handed us a card. I opened it. It was a Christmas card with gnomes at the front. The middle of the gnome had a beard with real fur on it. It looked a bit weird.
Oh hell no, man.
Okay,
Nah.
it looked a bit weird. Hold on, where was I? And homemade, but I did not think anything of it until I opened the card. Inside was a note saying, "Because the animals could not be here with us tonight, I looked at her And that's when she told me proudly that she went around her house, looked on the floor for bits of fur from her animals, and glued it on the card. I
Nah.
was disgusted, but
Nah.
acted as if nothing. Thanked her for the card, and we continued. Then came the time for my mother in law to give my sister in law as well as my brother in law's Christmas card. It was the same thing. Gnomes with old and dusty fur glued on it with the same note because the animals could not be here with us tonight.
Hey yo.
Okay,
Oh
let me keep
man.
going.
Yeah.
Once everyone had left, I told my husband that his mom was crazy for the card. He said that it was nothing and that she just wanted to include the animals since she loves them so much. I told him that it was not an excuse and that the card was a direct jab at me and my sister in law, and that it was overly disgusting. I would never give someone my dog's old fur as a Christmas card, specifically if that person is allergic. He
Yeah.
thinks that I am overreacting and that the card was not that bad, that it was just a card and that I'm overreacting and I'm the asshole. I disagree.
Is- Did you? Is that the end, or you just?
Yes, that's it. And that's it. Well, I said I disagree, but where she
Yeah.
said, "Am I the asshole?" Like she's asking. Isn't that crazy?
God damn. It's family, right? Like,
That's
okay,
and
where
that's
do?
where we go into the conversation of family. Like what?
Yeah. So, whose house was it?
For what?
The whose house in general was it? Like, is it the mother-in-law's house? Was it their house?
This happened at their house because the mother-in-law couldn't do it at her house.
Okay, so Christmas was supposed to be at the mother-in-law's house,
Which
but they couldn't do it.
I'm pretty sure Christmas happened, but Christmas Eve took place at the girl who's telling the story.
Got you. Instead, there because of the animals.
Correct. So she was upset about that.
Okay, so the animals for her are a part of her family, right? So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
and
Them.
would you say some of them are all?
No, all seven babies. Like seven. She said they have seven animals. So like the seven animals are like her children, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But they're allergic to them.
Yes, the daughters-in-laws are allergic.
Yeah, and then the son is kind of standing up for mom in a way. It's like, hey, they mean a lot to mom, so you kind of overreacted, but not acknowledging the fact that
No, that's nasty.
that that mother-in-law pretty much planted like a biological weapon.
She did. And to be honest, that
Bro,
was
that's like you being allergic to peanuts and me handing you a peanut butter jelly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that is messed up. Like, okay, so I'm gonna tell you what some people commented and what they basically said. So some people were like, that was some hardcore passive aggressiveness. That's what somebody said. Another person put, that was not passive, all aggressive.
yeah.
Somebody else put, mother-in-law has some deep mental health issues she needs to work through. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, passive aggression that kind of stands out. I do see this passive aggressive, petty, um, just overall just a bad communication thing. Like if mother-in-law felt so strongly, and one, we don't know the whole story, the dynamics. This is one side of the story from one person. But kind of going off of this, if I'm mother-in-law, a conversation around like, hey, these animals mean a lot to me. Is there a way we can have them involved in this? You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
that needs to be said. But I was thinking about this other day. Um, consideration versus like explicit conversation. So consideration is so with your spouse, you want them to be considerate. You don't want to always have to be like, hey, I would love if you did XYZ, ABC, like spell out everything. Because y'all been together, y'all care about each other. Same thing with like mothers and their kids and siblings. You just would appreciate if someone was considerate of something that you cared about versus having to explicitly have that conversation around whatever it is. So take this example, like the with the pets. Daughter knows how much the pets mean to mother-in-law. So passive aggression, pettiness can come from people wanting consideration. You know what I'm saying? Versus always having to spell out their needs. Now, I'm on the fence of, hey, if you don't say it, it's kind of hard to expect it. But I can appreciate how someone, if you've known them for a long time, would want you to kind of like, hey, I care about these animals. Like, why can't we have a way for them to be involved in all of this? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I will say this. I actually have some family members who are like extremely allergic to animals. So as soon as they step into a house, and if the house has pets and the people there don't clean up really well after their pets, they like swell up, like start coughing, getting hives. So like I feel like the mom in a way should be more considerate of the
Consideration goes both ways.
yeah, it
Yeah.
goes both ways. Like it can't just be like mother-in-law. It needs to be as well like okay, my son's wife is extremely allergic and it's really important. Like I feel like in this situation mother-in-law was in a way only thinking about herself.
Yeah.
And that gets really hard. I feel like whenever you have you're a mother of boys, there's that thing where mother of boys feel like they're above everybody, but in reality they're not. And whenever you have like the daughter-in-law, they sometimes feel like they're put in the back burner, like, oh, my son doesn't care about me anymore, so whatever.
Yeah, yeah. They
I feel
feel
like that
like
happens
this.
a lot.
They feel discarded.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah. We don't know if she has any kids in the house. But for this example, let's just assume all her kids are grown and out of
Yeah.
the house, and that the animals kind of be the pet. I'm over here like the animals, like she like a goddamn zoo, like she got llamas and camels and caribou. No, so she got pets. So the pets, I know pets can mean a lot to people.
Yeah, they really can.
A lot to people. It's like you have a spectrum. Some people could care less about, pets, and then other people, pets become family members. And I'm somewhere in the middle personally, right? Like
Mhm.
I I care about we have two dogs. I care about them. But Jackie, that's they might as well be, her kids, right? So, and she has two young kids. So I could only imagine if our kids are grown and out the house and what the pets would come to mean for Jackie. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or for someone who cares about pets, which would be the mother. Someone behind you? What's going
No.
on? Which for the mother-in-law, these pets may have been, right? They may have been like these aren't just some wild animals in my house. These are my companions. These are family to me. So by having Christmas, you're asking me to have Christmas without my family.
But then at the same time though, they agreed that they would have Christmas, real Christmas on Christmas Day at her house.
Did I miss that part?
Yeah, I maybe
Oh,
we're on here where it's we compromised and agreed. So this is they compromised. It said we compromised and agreed that we would do Christmas Eve at our house and Christmas at hers.
damn. So I'm
Yeah,
trying to,
so
yeah.
so they did compromise. Like
But okay, look at it like this though. Yeah, you compromise.
you know this is fucked up. This is some messed up stuff. Cause some mothers-in-laws like, damn, they have no
Yeah.
chill for real.
No, Yeah, that's true. You can get into a place where there's just no boundaries, or even you can compromise. Man, I read this quote. It's like, don't agree to something you don't agree with,
Mm-hmm.
and that's in all relationships. How often does that happen? You compromise with your partner or your friends, or you set a boundary or whatever it is, and you don't really agree to it. Like, you're just like doing it just for the sake of keeping the peace,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start to resent the decision. Like, maybe you've been cooking dinner every night, and the compromise is, okay, how about we just eat out on 2 of the nights, and then you cook the other 5? And then it's like, okay, you agree to it. But really, you just want help with dinner. You know what I'm saying? You want to, one week you do 3 days, the next week they do 4 days, and then it switch. One week you do 4 days, but that's not what happened. All that's happened is, instead of 7 days, you do 5, and then the other 2 you eat out. You don't agree to that compromise fully, but you're just like, all right, we'll do it. Well, what happens over time? You start to resent the decision and all this stuff. So it's important not to agree to something you don't agree with. And it sounds like the mother-in-law didn't fully agree with that compromise. It's like, hey, we'll do one night at your house and one night at my house. Well, it's like, one, we're not a split family. It's not like you and my son-in-law aren't together and we're having a split Christmases because the kids are split up or something. Like that's not what. So you're asking me to split time with my family, even though we're all still, a family.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, no. But here's the
Yeah.
thing: she really cares about her pets. Like, this is it. If we frame it like the pets are her family, I think we have a different perspective.
I don't. I do. I feel like the passive aggressiveness of spitefully going around the house and picking up the like dirty. It would be different if she went and like cut a little bit of piece from like the fur, like, oh, or did like a little paw. Like, I feel like it could have been done
Did
so
a
much
paw, like,
different.
cut off their paw?
No, no, like did
Oh,
you know, or
oh, okay, okay, okay.
something cute. But no, she decided to be so
Petty.
rude. Like,
Yeah.
that's so messed up. Like, and you know exactly what she was doing. She knew. Like, she knew that the daughters-in-laws have allergies, and for her to walk around and pick that up, like you said at the beginning, it's like making somebody a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and being like, I know you're allergic to it, so here you go. Like, who does that? That
Bro, that's foul, bro. Or put
who
it
does?
also like put on some peanut cologne. Like, on the
Oh yeah, and they sniff and they faint. Like, oh my god, no.
yeah, yeah.
No. So do you agree that, or you can disagree, that the girl who posted it, that she's not the asshole? Because I think she's not the asshole.
I want the full story,
Ah,
but
okay.
based
Uh,
based off of
to
this,
grandma, I mean, to not grandma, sorry, mother-in-law.
yeah, I want the mother-in-law side. God damn it, no, but based off of this, for sure, she's not the asshole. It's it's just unfortunate that, like, I'm trying to view it from a lens of somebody who really cares about their animals, like really cares about their pets.
Yeah, but
I
if
know
they,
people like that. I know people like that, and it's not as simple as like, okay, I'll just leave them at home. Like, these are the factors I'm considering. She's an empty nester. Well, we
yeah,
kind of assume that, right?
yeah,
So, I think that's the biggest thing, right? She's an empty nester. So these may not just be pets. These may be a proxy for her kids at this point. Her kids are out of the house, so her pets, what she said, 7 of them, like,
yeah. But don't you think that, like, if you have 7 pets, don't you think that kind of dives into like something deeper is going on with mother-in-law? Think about that.
no, 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 I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't say it.
What?
I
You
wouldn't
really,
say that, because I
for her
think
to
there are all
have 7,
kinds of people.
like, some. Okay, what are we trying? What void are we trying to fill with 7 pets?
Yeah. If if but when she had kids, she didn't have as many pets. Like, did they say how many pets they had growing up?
No, but
Yeah.
it said that within the past year, she adopted 7 animals.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, when we say something's going on, I wouldn't and you didn't say this, but I wouldn't go like, okay, she's like the crazy cat lady type shit. You know what I'm
No,
saying? Yeah,
no.
and you didn't say that. But I would, okay, with that context of over the past year adopted 7 animals, yeah, I would start to look like, is there a void that she's trying to? Oh yeah, that's a great observation, Linda. That's a great observation
Well,
for sure.
I don't know, but anyways.
No, that's a really good point. Say more. Say more. Like about the void she may be trying to
Well,
fill.
I'm just thinking of her like, well, and just a quick disclaimer, my mother-in-law is amazing, so this has nothing to do with my mother-in-law. She is the bomb down.
Shout out Audra.
Yes. So I just thought this was really interesting because I feel like there's a lot of people out there who, at some point in their life, possibly dealt with something like this. Dealt with, I know that in the Latino Hispanic community, um,
Mhm.
their sons are held at a really, really high standard compared to their daughters. And
Mm.
um, you don't really accept daughters until a certain point. Like mothers who have sons have such a hard time accepting their daughters-in-law. Like they have such a
Oh,
so I could definitely see, like, I would actually want to know the ethnicity of
you
this.
would want to know like the cultural.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
the
there's a.
cultural, like, okay, because that could you could really dive into a little bit more, to kind of understand her, like the mother-in-law, and kind of like the dynamic. And the sons are very like, oh, you know what? That's just how she is. They don't really see anything wrong with it
Mm,
until
yeah,
the daughters start bringing it up, like, oh, this and this and this is what's going on. Like, there's something going on. So I really feel like when we look at our parents, we have a partner, certain things start getting pulled up that we didn't realize,
that's
like,
a great point.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, certain things are happening that we did not realize as children because this is mommy, this is daddy. But now that we are full grown adults, you start to realize, like, oh shit, like,
yeah.
damn, my mother-in-law or this or that can be really like this. You start to realize all these crazy things. Well, not sorry, not crazy things. You start to realize a lot of things
For
that
sure.
you didn't realize before because it was kind of like you were blinded in a way, like blindfolded, because your perspective of this person was completely different
It was
until
normal for you.
yeah, that was normal. That was completely normal for you.
Yeah. So these behaviors may have been normal for, or they were normalized for son-in-law, right? Well, not son-in-law, for son. Son,
Hmm.
like, hey, that's mom. Like, you're overreacting. I've dealt with this for, let's say he's
Like
in
hurt
his.
when petty things.
Yeah, this is just, you're over. Oh, for sure. Oh my god. Yeah, for sure. And kind of disclaimer for those of y'all who don't see the video, I'm black. You know what I'm saying? And I'm married to a Hispanic woman. And I'm not trying to paint the picture. This is how all Hispanic families are, blah, blah, blah. But I do see elements of what you're talking about in terms of my wife's the only daughter. And there are different standards placed on the sons versus the daughters versus, like, just based on specifically their gender, like, for sure, like 100 billion trillion%. And even with the in-laws, I would say too, I ain't gonna put y'all on Front Street, but even with the in-laws, I would say, like, just, I think I had an easier time coming into the family than maybe my in-laws did. Not to say like everybody was like, hey, what the fuck, get these girls out of here. But as parents, specifically as parents coming into the family, I would say the expectations are different. I think the daughter-in-laws get judged harsher for the parenting. The the sons don't get judged as harshly because it's a mother's role, all that good stuff. Like Jackie had went to Mexico City for a 3-day weekend. Yeah, you know the
Wait,
story.
are you about to tell us a story?
Yeah. Story
Oh,
time.
okay. Y'all listen up, listen up.
Jackie had went to Mexico City for a 3-day weekend because it got to a point. We've been together since we were very young, and Jackie had expressed that she didn't feel that she had spent alone time, and she's introverted. Alone time is very important to her, very very important. And as an extrovert, for the longest, I was like, "What you mean? I need all my homies." But for her, yeah, she appreciates people, but at the same time needs to spend time alone so that she could recharge. And we had a conversation, and she started just expressing how she felt about not ever really being able to spend time alone, whether it was with a partner, with her friends, with the kids. She just never really gets that alone time, aside from like an hour here, 30 minutes there, like fully just a few days with just her, not having to worry about if she goes to a restaurant, do they have chicken nuggets? And that's for friends and kids, because y'all got some picky ass eating friends who can't. Y'all go to a restaurant and if they ain't chicken nuggets or burgers on the menu, I got some homies like that too. But things like that, like she could just go and only have to worry about what she wants to eat. So she decided, well, it was so funny. So she was like distressed about it in terms of she decided that this was never going to be a reality for her. Like she would never be able to spend alone time. And I had said, you could just go somewhere. Like you could just go somewhere. I got the kids. I've been with the kids alone. Like this isn't new to our relationship. Um, you literally could just you want to go because we had talked about traveling, and it's hard. It's hard to travel with the kids, and for her that was even more stressful. So I was like, you could just go somewhere alone. Like your birthday's coming up, you're turning 30. Just go somewhere. And this was like earlier in the year, and she's like, no, I'll never be able to go anywhere. I'm being dramatic, but and so goddamn, was it September or August? September comes along, and she's like, you know what? I want to go. And I was like, oh shit. All right, let's go. And I'm talking about every week. I was like, did you buy the tickets? Oh no, don't worry about it. And Jackie, this ain't normal. Like Jackie's like super prepared, super ahead
Yeah.
of time, agenda, all that stuff. I'm talking about every week. It was like, did you buy tickets? Nah. Did you buy tickets? Nah. And me, I'm like, damn girl, them tickets about to get expensive as hell. Girl, what you mean? You gonna buy the ticket? I was like, you finna take the bus. You finna be you finna be with them coyotes smuggling. You finna be going the other way. But so I think this had to be like 3 weeks, 2 weeks before. She's like, okay, I got tickets. And I was like, I didn't even look at the bank account at that point. I'm like, you know what? This is between you and God at this point. Whatever
Let's get there.
whatever the price is, man, y'all got that worked out. You and your creator. So she buys the tickets and she goes to Mexico for 3 days. And it was great, amazing time with the kids. She had an amazing time. She really loved it. She wants to do it like kind of annually or something like that.
Good.
And just a really good trip. And so we thinking nothing of it. This is just a regular thing because she'll go out of town with you guys and with you guys. I'm from the South. She'll go out of town with y'all. All right,
Yeah.
y'all. She'll go out of town with y'all, and it's just no biggie. But the thing is, I guess she doesn't tell her parents. Like her parents don't know, and so for the longest, I couldn't understand. I was like, bro, just tell them. Not realizing she didn't tell them because she didn't
The
want to have to
bomb.
deal with and have to deal with uh what do you call it? Her mom talking talking shit. You see, I trying to catch myself. Her mom talking You know what? She talking shit. Her mom talking shit. So I think I had went over there to drop off the kids the night before, so I clean up like real good before she got home, all that stuff. And my mom was like, "Where'd she go?" And I was like, "What you mean?" I was like, "What you mean?" And so she doesn't speak English, and I don't speak Spanish that well. So, but for somehow, some way, we found a way to communicate. And so I think she's translating through her husband and my father-in-law. And so she's like, "Where'd she go?" And I was like, "She went to Africa, goddamn." Like I'm over here, like, and they're like, "What?" I'm straight faced, like, "Yeah, she out of
Or like,
here." Yeah, I'm like, she's in Australia. You know what? She hopped on Elon Musk's rocket ship. She out of orbit, goddamn it. And I was like, no, she went to Mexico City. And then so a lot of her family's from Mexico, right?
Mhm.
Jackie's first generation. She spent like her really young childhood in Mexico. So like Mexico's not, that's not out of this world. That's like pretty much home for a lot of them.
Yeah.
And or at least the second home. And their face like hit the ground, like she's crazy. Who do you think she is? Blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, I can't communicate directly, but I tell the father-in-law, I'm like, the dudes in this family do whatever they want. Like if one of them wanted to go on a hunting trip, or if one of them wanted to go like wherever, there's no smoke, zero smoke. Like, what do y'all like? That says a lot for how y'all think about the capability. Like, y'all think that says about a lot about the mother, but it actually says a lot about what y'all think the dads are capable of. And I'm
Mhm.
sure there's a ton of families that deal with this, right? But whenever that standard is like held to the daughter or the mother or somebody in the family who has majority of the paternal responsibilities or maternal responsibility, God damn it, whoever raises the kids the most, whoever spends the most time with the kids,
Yeah.
whoever takes on the caregiving responsibility, you're actually speaking to your perceived incompetency of the other person. So in that
Correct.
example, it's me. It's like, I know how to watch my goddamn kids now. You know what I'm saying? Like they not just gonna survive, they gonna thrive. We finna do things, we finna, they gonna be well fed. Shoot, I eat. You know what I'm saying? Like they like they not gonna be you're not gonna come home and they mother and they're shaking and they're like their bones like
Oh my gosh.
we didn't make it. Like that's not gonna happen. But I guess, for them, it's like who's ever been taking care of the kids, that's who the kids one are most comfortable with, but also will do the best job. And I understand that if I can empathize with how you think that way. But whenever it's said like, oh, she's crazy, what is she doing? Who does she think she is? She has kids now. She's not, in her early 20s. Jackie's young. She's 30. Like, who does she think she is? All this stuff. I'm like, you also saying, who do I think I am to be able to,
Yeah.
watch my kids when I'm telling you, the dudes they could go around the world. Like, they can do whatever they want. It is no smoke, zero smoke. But whenever she did that, it was so big on like, who does she think she is? And to speak on like what you had said about the role that daughters and just women in Hispanic households may take on. Yeah, that made me think of that like immediately.
Yeah. And I'm so proud that you shared that story. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Because, as a Latina woman, I have seen that my entire life, where if I were to say something and let's say my brother were to say it, it's viewed
Mm,
two completely different ways. Whatever my brother says, it's accepted right away. Women, and I feel like Latina women are so feisty, because we have to basically like prove our point to our parents when our siblings, maybe our brother, didn't have to.
mm,
So like, and then that's where Latina women are viewed as, oh, they're so like this, like that, they're loud. And but it's because since we were little, we've had to deal with this. We've had to deal with, always having to prove ourselves.
Yeah,
Always
having to speak
having,
up.
yeah, always having to speak up for ourselves. Not because we wanted to, but because we had to, because we knew the role we were placed in. Most, and another thing too, it's like with Jackie's mom, her culture, I'm pretty sure that she viewed Jackie as she's the home taker, who's going to take care of the kids. Pretty sure that it wasn't viewed as, oh, TJ can do just as good of a job as Jackie could. But I'm pretty sure that you can, because now within our culture, we've made it to where a woman and a man can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Shakri can take care of the boys just as well as I can take care of them. It might be different, but he can do the same job I can. I've actually gone through things like that as well. Where like if I go on a simple girls trip for like 2 days, my phone will blow up. Will blow up. Like, where are you? What are the boys eating? Are they okay? Who's watching them? Are you sure they're fine? And it's really interesting because I never really thought about that till right now. Like
Mm,
how um much of a role women play being the home takers, and it literally sometimes feels like if we remove ourselves from it, the whole house is going to burn down. But it's not. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
yeah, yeah. No, that's huge, Linda. That's huge. So speaking of that being normal, right? That was you yourself just said that you didn't realize that until I kind of just spoke on it. That speaks to the earlier "am I the asshole" thing of the son seeing his mother's behavior as normal,
Mhm.
because until somebody from the outside is like, hey, you know what, like, I get it. I get culturally how this formed, and then also for a lot of families this works. But in 2024, my husband should be able to watch the kids and what I'm saying,
Yeah.
the house not burned down. And not
Yeah.
only that, when that happens, it shouldn't go through the grapevine that like I'm just this terrible mother who's doing all these wild things. And it's like, I just left for 3 days for
Yes.
72 hours.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
and another thing too, it comes down to basically older generations, they have not basically learned, well, not really learned, but in their generation, self-care was not a big thing. That's
Mm.
something new. That's something new that I feel like millennials were more of that, started that, like self-care, because
And
they didn't, so for them, self-care, it's like, what is that?
yeah,
Like there's no time for
bunch
self.
of a bunch of weenies. A bunch of. Did you watch SpongeBob growing up?
Yes.
Okay, you remember the episode with like where SpongeBob was trying to get into the tough person club,
Oh yeah.
and then he he slipped on the ice cube. You remember that? And he got in and he slipped on the ice cube. But anyways, it was like Weenie Hut General. That's the
Yeah.
hospital he went to, and then he went to Weenie Hut Juniors to eat. That's how they view us. They view us like weenies in a way. They're like, self care. What is self care? Y'all bunch of y'all are soft. Y'all are when you hear those stories like, when I
Yeah.
was young, I had to walk 3 miles to school in a blizzard. I was like, one, no, you didn't. You live in Houston. We do not have blizzards down here. You stop the cap immediately. But yeah, I 100% agree that self care wasn't prioritized, or not even that. They didn't have the option to
Correct. I
do
feel like
that,
they didn't have the option, and you know, we are very privileged that we get to have those options
for sure.
because of the sacrifices that they made,
And
so not saying I'm not thankful. I am so thankful for everything, but there are certain things that just, oh my God, take
yeah,
you off the edge.
there's one of our professors. I'm trying to remember if it was Davis or Pace. It might have been Horton. I don't know. Is it Davis or Horton who had said, uh, stop saying but, say and.
Yeah.
Like whenever two different points come up, stop saying but. It can be and. Like our
Huh.
parents made a lot of sacrifices growing up, but I value self-care and I want to be able to do things that they it's like no, it's and. Both of those
Yeah,
things can exist. It
they
can
can.
exist. Yeah, it can exist that you feel a certain type of way. You're grateful for the sacrifices they made, and some parts of the relationship, were fucked up in a lot of ways, and some of the stigmas that you got to deal with. They both can coexist. So, am I the asshole? The the mother-in-law can have a sense of trying to fill a void, right, with the pets over the past 7 pets over the past year,
Yeah.
and be super inconsiderate about the allergies and the medical needs of her mother-in-law, her
Yeah.
daughters-in-law, shit like that.
All right. Well, wrapping this up.
Yo, this was fun. This was really fun.
Hopefully, hopefully, y'all enjoyed all the giggles and laughs with this podcast. We are trying something new to try and like entertain a little bit more. All in all, if you are a mother-in-law, please be nice.
That's the final message.
Well,
Yeah,
no, just in general, like just treat others the way you want to be treated. Love everybody, positive vibes, and yeah, just try and be a good person, even if you don't like somebody.
for sure. My teacup says have a cup of positivity.
Oh, love that.
You know what I'm saying? It was a Christmas present from my mom, actually,
Oh, that's sweet.
for Jackie's mother-in-law. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I
Oh,
wonder. I wonder what story she has of boundaries and things like that. But no,
yeah.
really appreciate y'all tapping in, tuning in to your boy and the girl, Linda. That's your name. Like it's like Linda is with a lot of
Yeah.
E's. It's like 4 E's. So thank y'all for tuning in. Please like, share, comment, give us some feedback on what y'all think about the new format. If there are any topics y'all want us to talk about, tap into the Instagram, TikTok at Resilience, RESILIENCE, Unpacked. I hope I spelled that right. Like, why'd I even spell it? I should have just been like
I don't
Resilience
know.
the regular way. But thanks, y'all.
Okay. Yeah, well, hopefully y'all listen to us. Bye.
Peace.